Now on KZI 9 News at 4, the opioid crisis hitting Oregon hard, and in the wake of one pharmaceutical bigwig owning up to being a part of the problem, we're taking a look at what's being done in Oregon to fight addiction. Plus, is the fight for Hayward Field finally over? The Eugene City Council made a big decision today and has mixed feelings among those who want to give that site historical status.
And it's been a pretty nice day across Western Oregon. We've had a few light showers, but many of us have had a nice mix of clouds and some sunshine. But the question is, what will we see for the final 2 days of the work week? And as we head into the weekend, I'll have a look as KEZI 9 News at 4 starts now.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 4.
A mobile home fire in Springfield caused some confusion for first responders. This is a story we first brought you on KEZI 9 News this morning. That fire started about 3:30 this morning on Main Street, but was initially reported as being in Eugene. Crews say thankfully it doesn't appear anybody lived there and there was no damage to other units. I'm Bob Schaefer. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday afternoon. That fire now brings to light a very important point. The correct information, very key to first responders in any situation. And KZI 9 News reporter Brady Wakayama spoke with the 911 program manager and is live in Springfield to show us how providing wrong information impacts first responders. Right, Brady?
Well, Bob, the fire was right here along Main Street, and we're told that the home is a complete loss. Now, we don't know if the home could have been saved, but it didn't help that the fire was initially reported at a location that was 20 minutes away. Now, Rob Poirier is the 911 program manager at Central Lane Communications. He told me before they send first responders anywhere, dispatch ensures they know the type of incident they're going to and the general location. Poirier says for the most part, whenever somebody calls 911, they're able to figure out where the call is coming from, which can help if the caller gives the wrong information.
Maybe asking the caller over again or trying to get other information just to try to verify when there's a discrepancy like that. And it sounds like this morning somebody gave an incorrect address, but eventually through some, questioning the caller and, kind of jiving with where the actual call came in from, we were able to actually get the call sent to the right location.
He says in this morning's fire, they actually had two calls come in, one with an incorrect address and another with a proper address. Now, coming up on KZI 9 News at 5, hear from the caller who accidentally reported the wrong address and what it was like, what the fire was like. Reporting in Springfield, Brady Wakayama, KZI 9 News.
All right, Brady, thank you very much. Well, speaking of fires, a building at Fulcrum Technologies in Tualatin was badly damaged during an early morning blaze this morning. Happened just before 4 o'clock, and crews say they were on scene for hours after putting out the hotspots. No injuries reported, and the cause still under investigation.
It obviously feels like a setback, but we've got great people, and we're very resilient. So we'll be back operating really quickly, I'm sure.
Now, the company makes bases for sensitive instruments and production machines used in the semiconductor industry. Tonight is another community forum to discuss big changes, potentially, to the 4J school schedule. The district is considering moving to a standard schedule and consistent calendar for all schools, and they need your input. Now, this is video from a previous meeting. Officials think this change will create a level playing field when it comes to time spent in the classrooms. Tonight's meeting is at the 4J Education Center on Monroe Street. That's in Eugene. Starts at 5:30, goes till 6:15. We have full coverage coming up on KZI 9 News at 11. New at 4, the Eugene City Council won't go ahead with a historic designation for Hayward Field. That vote was 5-1 at a work session held today. And KZI 9 News reporter Macy Highland attended that work session. She joins us live from Hayward Field. Macy, what are the reasons behind this decision?
Bob, when it came down to it, a historic designation just wasn't going to save the grandstands. All it would do is delay demolition and ultimately construction. Now, why this might have worked towards some people's goals, it was actually just going to cost the university and the town some opportunities. The work session today was filled with community members, and many of them had a chance to voice their opinion in the last meeting. They say they wanted to see how their efforts turned out. The council noted that if they did vote to move forward with historic designation for Hayward Field, it would purely be symbolic. The U of O would quickly be able to turn around and petition that status. Plus, delay of the project may end in the UO losing important opportunities, like hosting the 2021 World Championship in athletics.
And I do not think we are in any danger of failing to tell the story about Hayward Field and the East Grandstands and both the legacy of track and field in our community and the future of track and field in our community.
Mayor Vinis believes opening up the lines of communication between the university and the community will make people feel better about this project. So moving forward, the city will be involved in the UO's plan for parking and other inconveniences during and after construction. They'll also be involved in finding a way to symbolically preserve the East Grandstands after they've been demolished. Coming up on KEZI 9 News at 5, this decision sat well with some community members, but some did not. And I'll tell you why some people felt it was the wrong decision. Live in Eugene, Macy Highland, KEZI 9 News.
Now, your first forecast with Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
Well, you saw there at Hayward Field looking pretty nice, and we've actually had some pretty nice weather throughout the day today. Not as many showers as what we were previously looking at, though we're not completely out of the woods just yet. We are still expecting a few more showers over the next about 24 hours. Live look, though, at Storm Tracker 9 satellite and radar. Nothing on radar, but satellite showing the clouds that are moving through. Most of them cumulus clouds, and we're kind of looking at partly cloudy to partly sunny skies. But with the rain that moved through yesterday, pollen levels are down just a bit, at least tree pollen. Tree pollen's now in the moderate range at 77. Grass pollen in the moderate range as well at 6, but we haven't seen grass spike just yet. It's likely to as we head through the next couple of weeks. Beautiful look here from downtown Eugene. You can see the blue skies, and again, a lot of those cumulus clouds moving through. 66 degrees. Temperatures really aren't too bad. Definitely cooler than what we had yesterday. Highs were in the 70s yesterday, and we are looking at cooler weather tomorrow before a big warm up this weekend. Right now, good mix of 60s out there, 50s, and even 70 degrees in Rosebud. Tonight, we will hold on to the clouds. Still going to have a few showers as well, especially once you wake up early tomorrow morning. Lows will be near about 50 degrees. I'll have a close look at your forecast and what you can expect through the weekend coming up in just a bit. Bob?
Okay, Marissa, thank you very much. We are continuing our coverage right now of the nation's opioid crisis. First responders in Portland and everywhere are doing incredible work to fight back and try to save lives. KEZI 9 News anchor Matt Templeman is live in the studio with a look at one of their solutions, right, Matt?
I'll tell you what, Bob, in Clackamas County, they have a pretty unique program, but it's all based on a fairly simple idea. With they track the people who they save from overdosing and then follow up to keep them from doing it again. Now, the county launched a 3-month program in an effort to stop opioid overdose deaths. Last year, 183 people died in the greater Portland area from opioid overdoses. Many are glad Congress is putting pressure on executives from pharmaceutical companies, but officials warn the problem will likely get worse before it gets better.
That number is going to keep going up as prescription drugs get harder to come by because there's such a push to not prescribe and not refill prescriptions. People turn to heroin, fentanyl, carfentanil, drugs that they don't know as much about. They get off the streets and they don't know how much they're dosing themselves with, and that's where our overdose rate's going to rise.
And in the meantime, the new program to follow up with overdose survivors is looking to be very promising. The county says it's about to expand it to include peer counselors who will help the addicts while they wait for inpatient treatment. Live in the studio, Matt Templeman, KEZI 9 News. Bob.
All right, Matt, thank you very much. Closer to home, Lane County Public Health and the Community Health Centers of Lane County adopted the CDC's opioid prescribing guidelines. Those guidelines encourage doctors to prescribe non-narcotic treatments, things like acupuncture. The county began offering acupuncture to patients, and officials say it's helping and that they've reduced the number of patients getting opioids by 40%. Moving on, Lane County Sheriff Byron Trapp says he's against a proposed assault weapons ban in the state of Oregon. Trapp says he has consistently supported the Constitution, including the Second Amendment, and he doesn't support additional firearms restrictions, including IP-43. Trapp also says raising the gun buying age to 21 won't affect the crime rate.
About every facet of behavior involved in gun violence is against the law, and those laws don't prevent that gun violence.
Now, if the proposal made it to the ballot and was approved, the future sales of assault weapons would be banned. Those who already have an assault weapon would have 120 days to register it with the state police. Your voice, your vote. Today is the day to drop your ballots in the mail for the May primaries. Lane County officials recommend you mail your ballot no later than today. After that, it's a better idea to return your ballot to one of the official ballot drop sites or turn them in at the Lane County Elections Office in downtown Eugene. They have to be in by 8 p.m. on May 15th. And this afternoon, Roseburg's newly appointed state rep Gary Leaf took the oath of office up in Salem. Leaf is replacing newly appointed Senator Dallas Hurd, who is taking over for Senator Jeff Cruz. Cruz resigned amid sexual harassment allegations. The Oregon Department of Environmental Quality fined Pacific Recycling Incorporated more than $12,000 because it violated monitoring requirements for its stormwater permit. The violation was at its Cross Street facility right here in Eugene. The DEQ says twice the company didn't perform chemical oxygen demand analysis during the 2016-27 year. The DEQ says the company has gotten in trouble for things like this before. The company has until the 20th to appeal the fine. And speaking of DEQ, they also fined a Veneta company. The Fern Ridge Self-Storage Company has to pay more than $4,300 for failing to implement erosion and sediment controls at its new location. Officials say that failure caused a lot of unnecessary sediment runoff. If you are looking for a new career, you're not the only one. A call center in Veneta is holding a big job fair today and tomorrow. In fact, it's going on right now. The FRC job fair runs until 6 o'clock tonight at its Veneta location. That's on Highway 126 near the Dairy Queen. Tomorrow's session goes from 10 until 4. If you can't make it, you can always apply on its website, gofcr.com. Traffic alert now. Up in Corvallis, overnight work on sewers along Harrison Boulevard starts today and goes all the way through May 18th. This affects areas between 35th and 53rd. Work will begin around 7 p.m. and will end at 6 a.m. every night. Harrison will be open with flaggers guiding traffic. Avoid that area if you can. And speaking of traffic, the city of Eugene wants to know your thoughts about parking. I guess that's kind of traffic. This is an online survey and it takes about 10 minutes to do. Those who take the survey will be entered into a random drawing to win one of 5 $100 gift cards to a downtown Eugene merchant of their choice. Anyone who is interested has until May 25th to take that survey. All right, coming up, a potentially life-changing accident didn't keep one Washington County deputy down. New on KZI 9 News at 4:30, you're going to hear his inspirational story of recovery and forgiveness. First, though, we may have enjoyed a mild winter this year, but experts say there is a tiny but potentially deadly downside. Why we need to be extra cautious of ticks this coming year. Ugh. Stay with us.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News at 4 with Bob Schaefer and Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
Oh, it's tick season here in the Pacific Northwest, and health experts say we need to pay closer attention to them, especially this year. Keely Chalmers spoke with one expert who says we're on the verge of hitting peak tick season right now.
The weather is warming and the hikers are hitting the trails. But when it comes to concerns over ticks, we found not a lot of hikers had many.
You think about it, but never been too really concerned, I suppose.
We've never really had to worry too much about ourselves.
Usually just check my hair really well afterwards. I guess I've never taken any precaution beforehand.
We've seen an interesting season this year.
But Dr. Emilio DeBess with the Oregon Health Authority says this year we should at least think about the tiny bugs. That's because this tick season is shaping up to be an unusually bad one. Due to the mild winter, the ticks got an early start, and the deer tick in our area can carry up to 3 different diseases, including Lyme disease. DeBess says Oregon has seen a steady increase in Lyme disease cases in the last 3 years.
We usually see somewhere between 40 and 60 cases a year, human cases a year, and about twice as many animal cases.
DeBess says the best way to protect yourself is to wear repellent and check yourself after every hike.
If you see a tick that is attached to you, it takes about 36 to 48 hours for that tick to transmit Lyme disease.
Which is why finding it fairly quickly is a good idea. Still, the odds of getting a tick-borne illness are very low.
3 out of every 100 ticks that you encounter are positive for Lyme disease. That's pretty low.
So if you see a tick on your body, no need to panic, but do call your doctor to get it out. DeBess says trying to burn the bugs out or get them out with tweezers yourself is not the best idea.
No, he says when people try to remove ticks themselves, they can sometimes accidentally squeeze more bacteria into the person or your pet, or leave part of that tick inside you, which can lead to infection. This is why he says you probably should see a doctor, or in the case of a pet, of course, your veterinarian. Marissa?
That is disgusting. I can't believe I had to follow that. Ugh, all those ticks and crawling around. Ugh, gross, gross, gross. Let's take a look at live traffic 9 right now, where we do have construction again on Highway 34 on your way to and from Corvallis over to I-5. Construction on both sides of the highway, the shoulders there, so just drive slowly. As we work our way into Albany, some slower traffic, but no accidents to speak of, and over into Corvallis, looking at some slowdowns, but actually not too bad right now. Sometimes you can see even more slowdowns, a lot more red and orange on the map, but not the case today. I'll have a close look at your forecast and what you can expect if the weather will impact your commute at all for the rest of the week. Coming up next.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with Chief Meteorologist Marissa Walzen.
Well, a lot of us have had plenty of sunshine throughout the day today, but we're also seeing plenty of clouds, especially moving in as we've moved into this late afternoon. Live look over Coos Bay and North Bend. We do still have some sunshine. We also have some clouds, but if you notice, the camera is shaking a bit. We're looking at some breezy weather along the coast. We're actually expecting some stronger winds tomorrow, and then also as we get into Friday, could see some gusts close to 30 miles per hour along the coast on Friday. Right now here in Florence, you can also see plenty of clouds moving in. We've had some light drizzle throughout the day, a few showers, but as we get into tomorrow, we'll see things pick up just a bit, especially in the morning. It's 60 degrees right now in Florence. Temperatures across Western Oregon about actually normal for this time of year. We've had big swings, low and high, that our temperatures, we kind of probably didn't know where we were supposed to be at, but temperatures right now, these are about normal, mid-60s, Corvallis to Cottage Grove, a little bit warmer though in Roseburg at 70 degrees, 61 in North Bend and 55 in Newport. Now, Storm Tracker 9 satellite radar showing the clouds that are out there. Radar not showing any rain at this moment, but I'm not going to rule out some drizzle. We do have a lot of moisture in the air, but as we zoom out, our next front is still offshore. You can actually pick it up just about there. It's going to push in as we get into tomorrow morning, bringing us a round of some steadier, lighter showers, I guess, if that makes sense. We're going to just see more than what we have out there right now, and more than even what we had throughout the overnight hours last night. We're still going to keep a few more showers even throughout the day tomorrow. I'll just show you it here on Storm Tracker 9 Stormcast. Stop confusing us all. As we continue past midnight tonight, all the way through early tomorrow morning, here comes that front. It is a narrow line yet again, much like what we had yesterday, but it is going to bring some steady showers early in the morning along the coast. By 9 a.m. they do push inland, but if you notice, it's really not that impressive, though it will bring us some wet weather to start off the day. By lunchtime, still a few more showers, and then towards the afternoon, there will be showers in the area, but many of us will start to dry out as we head into the early afternoon tomorrow, late afternoon and evening, with most of the showers holding into the Cascades, while the rest of us begin to see more sun breaks out there. But we're not going to completely lose the moisture until we get into Friday afternoon, and then we have some big changes on the way for this weekend. So for tomorrow for the coast, I do have us drying out by the time we get to 4 o'clock. Not going to rule out a stray shower, but we'll definitely be drier the second half of the day. Temperatures are going to be near 60 degrees. Same thing for the Umpqua Basin. We will be drier the second half of the day, but not going to rule out a random shower moving through. Temperatures will be in the mid-60s. Same thing for also the Willamette Valley. Will be drier the second half of the day. Best chance of the showers will be in the morning. Not expecting a ton of rain. It won't be as heavy as what we had with that front that moved through yesterday. Temperatures, though, will still be cooler, low 60s for highs. 7-day forecast along the coast. Big changes coming in this weekend. Highs in the mid to upper 60s at least, with the sunny skies, especially the beautiful weather expected for Mother's Day. Could be a little bit breezy, though, so something to watch. Umpqua Basin, looking at temperatures to continue to climb after we get through tomorrow. Low 80s on Saturday, 88 on Sunday, 83 still on Monday. Cooler, though, as we move into next week. Cascade passes, also expect the sunshine and temperatures climbing into the 60s for the weekend. And finally, for the Willamette Valley, also climbing up. The temperature climb will be a little bit slower than the Umpqua Basin. Mid-60s on Friday, mid-70s on Saturday. I do still expect us to get into those 80s for Mother's Day on Sunday, Bob. So pretty interesting kind of forecast. We've been all over the place, kind of typical spring.
Sure.
But we are going to see more sunshine in our future. We just have to get through a couple more days of more clouds and a few showers.
And you know, today wasn't bad at all.
No,
We
definitely
get a
very
little
nice.
sprinkles now and then. It's springtime. Okay, thank you very much, Marissa. Well, is YouTube kid friendly? The answer is not always. Coming up, we'll show you some tools you can use to help filter out the junk. All right, now to part 2 of a 2-part series we started yesterday, YouTube and your kids. There have been accusations of inappropriate content plaguing that video platform this year. YouTube says it has tools to filter out unsafe content, but do they really work? ABC's Juju Chan put some of those filters to the test.
The best thing ever. YouTube says more than 1 billion users watch more than 1 billion videos every day.
YouTube is the most popular online destination for children under 13.
These kids, ages 10 to 13, say they watch hours of YouTube every day.
Do you think YouTube does enough to restrict inappropriate material?
No.
How come?
Well, like, whenever it says verify age, you just have to sign into an email.
On YouTube's main site, the terms of service say it's not intended for children under the age of 13.
Hi, I'm Murray from Sesame Street.
Yet that site has channels like Sesame Street and Peppa Pig.
To play with Peppa.
YouTube wants kids on YouTube, and for them to say anything else is completely disingenuous.
GMA examined 2 tools that parents can use to filter content for kids on YouTube's main site.
Is it wrong for a kid to be doing this?
We created an account for a 14-year-old, so age-restricted content would be screened out. And we turned on restricted mode, which is supposed to filter out potentially mature content. Even with these restrictions, we found sexual content interlaced with videos of people playing their own customized versions of popular children's games, Minecraft and Roblox. We showed our findings to Josh Golan of Campaign for a Commercial-Free Childhood.
We're watching Meat Heart Girls
In restricted mode.
in restricted mode.
As we watch, we see YouTube referring us to more videos on the sidebar.
Minecraft XXX.
The algorithm is zeroing in on you and saying you want to see more and more and more of these things.
YouTube told us protecting families is our priority. We created the YouTube Kids app to offer parents a safer alternative for their children. But on YouTube Kids, GMA found a Super Mario Logan video.
Alrighty, kids, it's time for Goofy the Dragon.
Hey, kids!
It's a puppet talking about drugs and using a gun.
If you were peeking in, what would you see your child watching? That one is particularly deceptive to parents.
The video was up for weeks before YouTube took it down.
YouTube would say is that, well, people should just flag bad content and we'll filter it out.
If a 4-year-old has already seen a really disturbing video, then that's too late.
YouTube says it has since created more parental controls on YouTube Kids so that only videos screened by human moderators can be viewed. Parents have to turn them on themselves, and we found they do appear to work.
Now, most of the videos they found were either taken down or placed behind filters. YouTube says it's increasing the number of its human screeners to try to improve its filters. What could have been a life-changing accident didn't keep one Washington County deputy down. Coming up, we're going to hear his inspirational story of recovery and forgiveness. Plus, another scare in the air. More about a Delta flight that was evacuated and hear from passengers about their frightening moments.